Today we're in Bangladesh for the first time on the channel. I will take you on a ride between the country's two biggest cities on its flagship train, where this happens. Apart from the obvious lack of health and safety, it's an absolutely fascinating experience. So come along with me and let's check it all out together. I'm currently in the ancient capital of East Bengal, Sonargaon, which was first settled in 1281. It was a major centre of trade, culture and administration until the 17th century, and today remains one of Bangladesh's most important heritage sites. Unfortunately, it is now quite dilapidated, but still a very interesting place to visit. Okay, let's head to Dhaka, home to 36 million people and the present-day capital of the world's most densely populated large country. Over 177 million people call Bangladesh home, and they are squeezed into a land area the size of the US state of Iowa, which has just 3 million residents. And you can really feel it, there are just people everywhere. Okay, let's head to the station to get this train trip started. Today we will be travelling from the capital Dhaka down to Chittagong, the country's second largest city. Officially it is now called Chittagong, but I heard most locals still calling it Chittagong. We got an Uber the 15 minutes across town from our hotel, which was very affordable at just 200 Bangladeshi Taka. I was travelling with my good friend Kern from palaparan.com on this trip. Do check out his awesome travel website. Kamalapur is the main station in the Bangladeshi capital, located in the east of the city. This station is pretty mad and a bit confusing for the first timer. What's the craziest station you've ever been to? We popped down here a couple of days before to secure our tickets because you cannot easily book online as a foreigner. This was an experience all in itself. With a little help from some friendly locals, we got it all sorted for this trip and another after about 30 minutes. The station has a few small shops on the outer concourse, and then you need to head down this channel to access the platform area. This is somewhat guarded by staff, but no tickets were being checked. There is quite a bit of seating here, along with departure boards which show information only in Bengali. This also includes the numbers, which was a steep learning curve when we had to find our platform. Today we will be on train number 704 to Chittagong, which should depart at 7:45 AM. So let's check out our route. We will leave Dhaka and first head north and then east for a bit, before turning south along the Indian border and then skirting the Bay of Bengal coast before arrival in Chittagong. Now, there is a bit of a delay on our train this morning, so much so no one really knows what's going on. I arrived here about an hour before departure, and spoiler alert, we could have had another 2 hours in bed. While we wait, let's have a look around the station, and I can tell you about Bangladesh's very unusual railway network. Basically, it is split in two halves, with the track gauges broadly divided by the Jamuna and Padma rivers. The Western network was built first to 1676mm gauge in 1860 to connect with Calcutta in present-day India, while the Eastern network followed later at around the turn of the 20th century and was built to meter gauge. Anyway, time for a coffee and to wait for some news of the train. And about 90 minutes after it should have been, the platform is announced, so I head over there. They are numbered in Bengali script, but there are Arabic numerals displayed too as you enter. Our train today will be hauled by this Bangladesh Railway's 3000 series diesel-electric locomotive. These have a maximum speed of 120 km per hour and a power output of 1600 kilowatts. The boarding process is quite chaotic, but honestly, there was no need to rush, as we're still a long way from actually departing. There are 4 classes of travel on board this train, which we'll look at a bit later on. I'm travelling in the second highest AC chair, which is located around halfway down this 16 coach train, which includes a generator and dining cars. Some of the coaches look pretty new and in very good cosmetic condition, something I wasn't sure I would see before I arrived in Bangladesh. Okay, let's board. It is pretty level with the platform, but there is still a small gap to cross and 1 step up to the coach. I didn't see any form of accessible boarding, but I'm sure train staff would help if asked. And here is my AC chair coach, which is laid out in a 2+2 configuration. Most are airline style seats, but there are 2 bays of 4 with tables in the centre. And honestly, it looks pretty comfortable. We'll be sure to check them out in more detail once we're on the move. As well as AC, there are overhead fans to get the air circulating. And also large overhead luggage racks where you can store backpacks and small to medium sized suitcases. After I boarded, and everyone else did too, we still didn't go anywhere for about another hour. I have no idea what the problem was, and no information was forthcoming from the train staff. I will spare you all the waiting around, and fast forward to when we depart at 10:07 AM, nearly 2.5 hours late. This journey from Dhaka to Chittagong covers a distance of 321 kilometres and is scheduled to take 5 hours and 50 minutes of travel time. We haven't exactly got off to the best of starts, and spoiler alert, it doesn't get any better. My ticket in AC chair, the second highest class of travel on this service, cost a total of 857 Bangladeshi Taka. Now, obviously economies are very different in this part of the world, but to me that seems like a pretty good deal. There is an official ticketing website, but foreigners cannot use it as you need a Bangladeshi ID. You can try to use One2Go, but the availability is patchy and the prices are inflated. You also can't book sleeper tickets on there. I would recommend you stay flexible with your plans, book a few nights in Dhaka on arrival, and then go to the station 1 to 2 days before you want to travel and buy your tickets from the office there. I don't normally like to do this, but on this occasion it was the best way. We get a cracking view of this other train on departure before we start to wind our way out of Dhaka city centre. I find it equally sad and fascinating to get a glimpse of the people who live their lives right next to the railway track, just going about their daily business, working, doing shopping, chilling out, and even playing football. We are soon approaching Dhaka's main international airport. This is served by the upcoming station, but it's across a busy road and not connected that well with a walking route. I would recommend using an Uber to travel to and from the airport, especially with suitcases, as it's super cheap and way more convenient. Our train is already very busy, with nearly every seat taken. And just look at the amount of people waiting on the platform here. Although I can't see it yet, people are about to start climbing up on the roof to travel. Shortly after leaving the airport, some food and drinks vendors start to pass through the train selling their wares. I grabbed a coffee and a cutlet sandwich thingy. It was very affordable at 180 Taka in total. We are now out in the open countryside to the northeast of Dhaka, and we get some lovely train window views of the rice fields and rivers. I have to say, I really enjoyed travelling around Bangladesh. I wasn't sure what to expect before I came, but it did exceed my expectations and the people were super friendly. I have 3 more videos filmed, another train, the ferry you saw earlier, and the sleeper bus, all of which will be released over the coming months. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. Next, we stop at Narsingdi. The name literally translates as Lion Man in Bangla. This is a city of 180,000 people and is most famous for its textile industry, which makes up over 50% of the local economy. Okay, time to check out this AC chair coach in more detail. The seats have a decent amount of padding, a reasonable shape and a slightly winged headrest. They have adjustable armrests and can be reclined a good amount using this button down the side. Legroom is good and there is a footrest down below, along with the storage net and a medium-sized tray table that is unfortunately quite flimsy. The windows have full closure thick curtains. As well as AC, there are fans up above to improve airflow. These can be controlled by these switches on the wall. Overall, a pretty good coach, fairly comfortable but nothing groundbreaking. There are shared power sockets, but for some reason I didn't get a clip of them. No Wi-Fi is available. Next we call at Bhairab Bazar Junction, where just before the line to the north of Bangladesh converges. The delay is also slowly increasing station by station. We are now approaching 3 hours. I just can't believe how many people are waiting to board our already full train at every station we stop at. As we depart, check out the train surfers on the roof of the train opposite. I have always wondered, do they travel for free up there? I guess there's no ticket checks. Shortly after, we cross the Meghna, one of the 3 major rivers that forms the Ganges Delta, which empties into the Bay of Bengal 230 kilometres further downstream. The 1 kilometre long Bhairab Railway Bridge is the most impressive bridge on this route, which dates back to 1935. A second bridge was built to the same style in 2013 to double track the line. Okay, time to go and check out some more of the train, I think. The vestibule seems to be the unofficial smoking area. It is also where you will find the toilets. These weren't especially clean, but were in relatively good working condition. There was water and soap available, but not toilet paper. However, there was a bum gun and a vacuum toilet. The best feature though was the opening windows, allowing for some wonderful shots like this. Right, now let's look at the other classes. AC Sleeper is the top tier and comes with these comfortable private 4-berth rooms. During daytime only trips such as this one, they are sold as a reserved seated option at about a 50% price surcharge over my AC chair seat. The cheapest ticket on this train, at less than half the price of my ticket, is in Chauvin or ordinary class. This is non-AC unreserved seating in 4-person bays with bolt upright benches. Then finally there is a non-AC reserved seating of my coach called Chauvin chair, which costs around 25% less than AC chair. We have now turned south and are running down the border of India's eastern state of Tripura, sometimes as close as just 160 metres. The tree line you can see off in the distance here is in India. We are now on the approach to Bangladesh's 6th largest city, which has a population of around 870,000 people in its metropolitan area. Kamilla was one of historic East Bengal's most important cities and once capital of the Tripura Kingdom. Now we get to some of the most infamous shots of Bangladeshi railways. My mind was blown when I first saw these, and even more so now I've witnessed it in person. I guess it's safer that the line is not electrified, but still not something I would want to explain to my travel insurance company if there was a problem. And the service continues as normal, at regular speeds, that being between 70 and 90 kilometers per hour. It's quite mind-blowing to think that people could be on the roof above me now, while I am down here tucking into my next round of snacks and coffee. The popcorn was especially nice. I can't remember how much this batch of food cost, but it wasn't much, and no one tried to charge me foreigner prices. Okay, as we are now closing in on Chittagong and the end of today's journey, let me summarise this trip with Bangladesh Railways on their Intercity service down from Dhaka. Well, it was certainly an unforgettable experience. The most memorable thing was definitely seeing all the people riding on the roof of the trains. It's quite mad that this can still happen in 2026, and basically anywhere else in the world this would cause a major incident. But other than that, it was quite an uneventful journey. The seats were comfortable, the coaches were fairly clean, and there was a good amount of food and drinks on sale that you won't go hungry or thirsty. The staff and other passengers were all friendly, and the time passed by pretty quickly. Even though we had been up since 5:30 AM, I wasn't even feeling particularly tired. We finally arrive at 4:45 PM with a delay of 3 hours and 10 minutes from the timetable. Chittagong is Bangladesh's 2nd largest city, which has a total population of about 5.6 million people. While here, one thing we were very keen to do was go down and look at the huge shipbreaking yards that Chittagong is famous for. You can't get inside them, but there are still some very good vantage points from the nearby public beaches. I was trying to get to the front before the loco detached and swapped ends ready for the return journey, but I wasn't quick enough. Here it is anyway. Have you been on any Bangladeshi trains before? What was your experience like? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always open to new video ideas, so if you have something you'd like to see on the channel, then drop me a DM on Instagram, Blue Sky or Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.